Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Bet on Black pitch. My name is Tawana Rivers, and this is the 10K Project. And we have with us Gillian. And Gillian, I've been waiting to do this all week. Gillian's company's name is Bagock.
Very good.
That's what I've been practicing my Bagock.
Very good.
Chicken and donuts, y'all. I'm going to go to the WeFunder page. We always talk about how we're familiar with WeFunder, so I won't spend a whole lot of time there, but I do want to show you where everything is. And I'm going to say Bagock about 4 more times tonight, because I just love it. Okay, so Gillian's campaign is on WeFunder. Minimum investment is $100. She's already raised $27,075, but she's still in her early bird, right? In her early bird period. So there's $72,925,000 left in the early bird round. And just to make sure that you guys understand, early bird, usually the terms during early bird are more beneficial than once the early bird round is over. So the share price goes up after the early bird and all of that. This is a future equity deal. There are some investor perks for you to make note of. All of the highlights of the project. You can see the team. Also the videos that are on this page. I really love the videos. And as you can see, and if you want, are you okay with me showing one of the videos?
Oh, please go right ahead.
Perfect. Show this first one. Oh, hold on. I need to share. Let me stop sharing and reshare with the sound.
Okay. Hi, I'm Chef Gillian Clark. I'm an award-winning chef and fried chicken expert dedicated to making the highest quality product. I've been featured in dozens of Food Network shows, including Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And I even beat Chef Bobby Flay in a fried chicken throwdown. I've written a best-selling cookbook chronicling my 25 years working in some of the best restaurants in the country, eventually opening my own critically acclaimed spot. Making food and creating in the kitchen is my passion, and I've been delighting diners in New York City, the Gulf Coast, Los Angeles, Chicago, and the nation's capital with my modern take on classic American cuisine. But it's fried chicken, really great fried chicken, that captures my imagination.
I've eaten fried chicken all over the country, and it doesn't get any better than this.
That's what fried chicken ought to taste like.
And I'm not alone. Fried chicken is a booming culinary phenomenon, generating close to $40 billion in revenue annually. But the big chains focus on science and mass production. Today's chicken chain model produces an inconsistent product that performs poorly in taste tests because shelf life is the goal, not flavor. Bagock is driven by the mission to make the best possible fried chicken using the most carefully sourced ingredients. Our goal is to be the biggest fried chicken chain in the country that is dedicated to quality, delivering the best tasting fried chicken in the world. With this as our focus, Bagock opened to rave reviews, generating a considerable fan base, an almost perfect Google rating, plus we've been voted the best fried chicken in New York City by Bon Appetit. Operating the concept here in New York City gave us the opportunity to build a solid reputation around a consistently flawless product. We've gained valuable momentum and developed a system to make things fresh and fast while keeping our costs low and finding creative ways to increase revenue. Unfortunately, the global pandemic forced us to change how we do things. I am reorganizing the structure to capitalize on growing trends in the restaurant business. I will start by pivoting to delivery and off-site food service to maximize profits and growth. By utilizing state-of-the-art commercial kitchens here in the New York metropolitan area and partnering with delivery food apps, we can immediately reach a huge market in a highly profitable manner. Our food service channel would allow us to partner with hotels, convenience stores, bars, and with grocers offering prepared foods. Our plan for 2022 is to open 5 brick-and-mortar locations in the New York metropolitan area, while still utilizing centralized kitchens to lower our overhead. The possibilities are wide open. We may choose to keep opening our own stores across the country or explore a franchise model. Over 14 million people eat fried chicken in fast food locations every day. Bagock is the elevated brand that the market is hungry for. Let me tell you about this fundraise. This raise will allow you to be an owner alongside me and our partners to capture the immense opportunity in front of us. Fast food fried chicken represents 17% of the rapidly growing fast food market. And this market segment is soaring. Our valuation will only go up as we grow into a major national brand. Now is the time to join me in the chicken revolution.
All right, very good. So you can see the team information, another video, and then all of your due diligence information is in here as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And Gillian, I'm going to turn it over to you, my dear.
You know, it's really funny. I didn't know how much people love fried chicken. I really did not.
Mhm.
I started fried chicken as family food when I was in the restaurant, just started in the restaurant business. I was a line cook, and I was like, okay, I'll make some fried chicken. I saw this recipe long ago, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit. And the staff went crazy. And I just started, every once in a while, the chef would bring in chicken and have me make fried chicken for family. And they loved it. And it was when an oven went down in a restaurant that I was famous for the roasted chicken. I was the executive chef. And we would sell maybe 36, 40, 45, 70 roasted chickens, a little half of a bird on a busy Friday night. We would just sell out 80, a whole case. And the oven went down. So I was like, I got all this chicken, I've got to fry it. And that was the first time I served fried chicken to a paying public. It went over not so hot because everybody came for the roasted chicken, but it just came on a night where we were being reviewed. And the reviewer loved it. And that was sort of like the beginning of the attention that my fried chicken got. I was reluctant to do it at the general store because I was afraid that it would overshadow all of my other food. I mean, I've been known for my crab cakes, I've been known for my burgers, I've been known for my hollandaise sauce, and fried chicken was just going to take over. And as a chef, I was a little intimidated by that. But I dove in, and it led to all those Food Network appearances. We entertained Guy Fieri one weekend. Bobby Flay challenged me. And the amount of attention that you get from the Food Network is insane. We had a line out to the parking lot. We were doing a 24-hour operation at this point, just cutting fried chicken and marinating it and frying. I mean, it was just in the door and out the door. One count was we did 14 cases of fried chicken 1 week, which is probably around 310 orders. So it was like really blowing up. But I don't think I still understood how people love fried chicken until I saw what was going on around me. And, a lot of these chicken wars have sort of sprung up and have continued, and fried chicken has sort of become this food that everybody seems to want. Nobody wants to cook it at home. It's just one of those things, but everybody really wants good fried chicken. And honestly, I don't always want to cook it. I want to eat it. And I wasn't finding any fried chicken that matched mine. Going on now, I'm a little bit older. I didn't necessarily want to own a restaurant anymore. And I started to really think, well, maybe I want to put all the things I've learned and all of my talents and work for a company and help design food and do concepts. And a lot of the times the door was closed to me because I didn't have a food science background. And that's what I realized what is wrong with fried chicken and food in America, and now globally, because so many of these companies are global, that there's a science behind it. And if I can produce really good chicken without BHA and BHT and TBHQ and added sugars and preservatives, then why isn't everybody else? Well, their margins need to hit a certain point. They don't have the talent on their teams to produce it. They're sourcing from lower quality birds, and they want it. They want to be able to fry a bunch and then let it sit out all day. And in order for it to maintain flavor, they're adding monosodium glutamate, all those chemicals that we've been told to avoid. And here I am watching my brothers and sisters, the Black community, flock and filling their bodies with this food. And I produce an all-natural product. As a chef, we're focused and trained to produce food that tastes good naturally. That's how we're trained. And that's how I do my fried chicken. And one of the things that we've been able to do with the store we were operating was we learned how to scale this. We learned how to take this fried chicken that's an all natural bird. I'm really very serious about quality. It's never frozen, no hormones. I source from farms I know. As a farm in New York, I've worked with white oak pastures in Georgia that produce the bird that we're looking for. It's never been frozen. It's not chilled in an ice water bath. So it just naturally tastes better. And then we take it through our process that is all 100% natural. And we fry in small batches so that we don't have chicken that's been engineered to survive. We create fried chicken that's meant to be eaten. So that's the huge difference between me and Big Chicken. And I call it Big Chicken. KFC, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, all those big brands are creating fried chicken to last all day long. That aside, the quality of our chicken being so superior, then I looked at the potential that what fried chicken is doing and what these fried chicken wars have done. Taco Bell now, everybody knows. Everybody knows Americans love fried chicken. And as a protein, it's probably one of the least expensive. We're going through a supply issue now, so fried chicken prices have gone up, still not nearly as expensive as beef. So as a protein, it's very favorable economically. But we're talking about 14 million people are eating fried chicken every day. And as far as I'm concerned, they're settling for really bad fried chicken. They're settling for chicken that's full of chemicals and hormones that still, when you get it, it's delivered. And as a chef, I really care about that. How is my food looking when I get it? We've worked on packaging. We've worked on the best way to deliver it. We've worked on the best way to serve it so that it doesn't come to you. You know, everybody's seen the picture on TV, how delicious that chicken looks in that bun. That is our number one focus, that it's packaged in paper, it's packaged in cardboard. We have insisted on our Uber and our Grubhub and all of those folks that run our food that they cannot put it in a plastic bag. We want that person to get it. It's hot. It still has that crunch. So we're very serious about how it's delivered and how it comes to our customers and how it's served. That we want to have people have the best fried chicken experience they can possibly have. So that's my main focus. My other focus is, as a chef in this industry, looking at all of the people that cook around me, if anyone has done any research on this, and I take this very seriously, considering I'm in the workforce, I'm in the work world. I've gone to places and tried to get those upper echelon chef jobs. And I've said to myself, when I'm constantly told no, that I don't have the science experience, I don't have this experience, I'm not a cultural fit, that for me to advance in this industry as a Black woman, I have to create my own mega brand. I have to create my own concept that's going to be better and go national and go globally and frankly take over the world of fried chicken. 56% of the people that work in kitchens in America are people of color. The majority of them are women of color. Yet only 7% of the upper management in the food industry are people of color. And Bagock wants to push that and say, like, Black people, Latin American women, Black women, sure, we're more than just cooks. We can run these operations. We can bring really good food to people, and we can do it in a way that makes economic sense. We're not gonna, do fried chicken that's an elevated brand as we are and not make economic sense. We're going to be doing that. And that's why we fry in small batches. We're not throwing away a lot of fried chicken, but then of course we have secondary recipes. Whatever fried chicken that's left over, I make chili out of. I mean, we're very thoughtful of our process. And we've gotten really great feedback and great results. Aside from the Food Network shows, most recently being voted one of the best fried chickens in New York City after being only open for 6 months. I think that was really great news for we are getting positive feedback, and looking forward to becoming that new national brand. We haven't seen a new fried chicken brand in ages. It's, pretty much the same old fried chicken, just in different formats. And there's such an opening in the market that we have entries now from McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell. People that really have no business being in chicken, putting in entries because they know how lucrative fried chicken is. Fried chicken is soon going to surpass burgers and pizza. It's just a matter of time. It's only 17% of the quick serve market right now, but it's going to be 30. It's going to be 40 in the next few years. They're looking at fried chicken surpassing 435 billion in sales nationally, which it's a huge market.
That's huge. Wow. I wanna go back to something you said because I want to make sure the community understands the impact, right?
Yeah.
So I'm from New York, so I understand the impact. When you say you are voted best chicken in New York City, like that, like come on, like you're not like people. There are a million chicken joints in New York City. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. You can eat at a restaurant for every meal in New York, and it'll take you 90 years to eat at all of them. And I think all the fried chicken places, it'll probably take you 30 years to eat at all of them. But Bon Appetit recognized the quality of our fried chicken, that we're not just taking a bunch of birds, tossing them in flour. It's been frozen and then dropping it in the deep fryer. We're very careful with our ingredients and our sourcing.
Very good. Okay, guys, I see some questions already in the queue. You guys didn't even wait for me to say put some questions in the Q&A. You already have them in there. Are you ready for questions, my dear?
Certainly am, yes.
Okay. The first question I have, I'll start off, is what's the price point?
Well, we've been really very careful with that. You can enjoy our little fried chicken and donuts from our lowest price thing is $5. And that is, in fact, we started out at $4 and people were like, you got to raise the price. This is crazy. We have our thing called hunks and holes, and it's donut holes and hunks of chicken, and they're tossed in honey and served in a little pint container. So it's served by the pint. And that's our lowest price thing. And it's just like a little snack. We thought of it as a snack or like a kids item. And then we go as high as $13 is 6 chicken tenders. And they come with, we call them fingers, and it comes with with 2 sides and a dipping sauce. We have Mississippi Comeback and a DC favorite, mumbo sauce. And you can also get honey and honey mustard. All of it's made entirely from scratch. We make our mumbo sauce, we make our comeback sauce, we make our honey mustard and all of that. Mashed potatoes are a typical side that sells very well. Collard greens, mac and cheese. And what doesn't sell really well is grits. But I think in our southern locations, that'll probably be a big seller. I think New Yorkers have a little hard time with it. And I think a lot of it is because they haven't had really good grits. But that's another thing we're very careful of. We get a Mountain Farm in Tennessee. We get our grits. I call him and I need 40 pounds. Can you send me? And I mean, that's the contact I have with my farmers. And as we scale, one of the biggest things we're doing as we scale is finding those farms. so that we maintain with our, we have a location in Connecticut, we have a location in Philadelphia, if we have a location in Texas, that our central kitchens, because we plan on doing this with a central processing kitchen, sending marinated chicken and ingredients and stuff that really can be just put together very easily in the stores, but still made fresh. Those central kitchens are going to be very connected to local farms.
Very good. Okay, let's start with the questions. Chris says, where's your location in Chicago?
Oh, we don't have a location in Chicago. We had a location here in Brooklyn, but that's our hope, is to, we're going to re-enter the market with 3 ghost kitchens, and we're negotiating with the team in Gotham West in Manhattan. And then we're going to branch to 5 locations. And then the ideal is in 2025 is to have 15 locations. And right now we're scouting out what are the best areas. In fact, Illinois and Indiana came up in our search. So those are a great possibility. But we're also looking at the Pennsylvania locations, whether it be Lancaster, State College, some of those areas we're looking at also. But Chicago is up on our list.
So Gillian, I want to go back just a little bit because I don't think you said this, but obviously I know it because we talked. So Brooklyn location, line around the corner, then COVID hit.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that, because I think that's important, that you had this thriving business and then just, we all know what happened with COVID and how it hit you.
Yeah, we were centrally located, and this was intentional, at right outside of a subway station, but also surrounded by 5 bars. And these bars did not have food service. And that was our huge market, was people that were going to bars would come, and then people would get delivery to their bar stool. And that was a huge part of what we did. We even did some of the deliveries ourselves. For the bars, we created snack boxes that we named for a bar, like the Graham Bar. We did a snack box for them, and we delivered those ourselves because they were right around the corner. So we had a great relationship with bars. We were doing a lot of business with them. And then we stayed open after they had closed, because New York City closed bars. And we hung on as long as we could, and then we just did not have any business. So we wound up closing that store. But I think what we took out of it were lessons on how we were going to scale this up. We had a lot of practice, a lot of trial and error, a lot of things that worked really well and a few things that didn't. And we've come up with a plan to recreate and to reopen. And if we can do the Gotham West market, that's going to be for us it's a marketplace. So we'll be able to serve in the store, but we'll also be able to have a huge window open to delivery in a central location in Manhattan. And hopefully we can do another ghost kitchen in Pennsylvania. And then hopefully we're looking at doing another one on Long Island. So we'll have like a triangle that we're going for. And one of the things we do is people are like, well, how are you going to do this? I said, I spend a week, I call it fried chicken school or Bagock University. I spend a week just telling people what chicken means when I hire somebody. And then they have a month of training and learning how to do this fried chicken, because there's so many nuances for it, that's probably what really is going to separate us from the big chicken competitors, because you get a baseball hat and a polo shirt and you're in there. Not at Bagock. You have to earn your chef coat. And that's why I call it Chef Coat Nation. There's no lab coats here. It's chef coats. And we don't wear polos. We're not golfing. We're frying chicken. This is serious. And that's what I tell people that come to work for me. You're going to wear this Bagock t-shirt, this one right here, until you graduate from Bagock University, and then you'll get a chef coat. And that's what you wear to work, because we're not polo shirts and baseball hats here, and we're not lab coats. So that's probably going to be the biggest difference. And it's something that we invest in that I think Big Chicken isn't willing to invest there. We even before it was popular, we've paid above the minimum wage. I think the lowest I pay is $16. I have cooks that work for me for $17 and $17.50. because we believe in a living wage and having people that are excited to come to work. They know they're going to learn something, but they also know that they're going to be paid fairly.
Very good. Robin says the WeFunder page doesn't talk about the donuts. Can you tell us a little more about them?
That's really funny. And I guess I should add something more about them more than a picture. We try and put donuts in everything. We even do a breakfast Benedict where instead of doing an English muffin, we do a donut. They're not horribly sweet. We do sweet donuts for special occasions, but it's a cake donut. And imagine it as a walking waffle. It's a classic buttermilk donut that New Yorkers are more familiar with. And I'm from New York, so it's that donut that you dunk in your coffee. It doesn't have any sugar in it on it. It doesn't have it's not a big glazed jelly donut. It's a classic donut that really is like as if a biscuit and a waffle had a baby. And that's what comes standard with our fried chicken. We have a quarter white, a quarter dark. It comes with a donut. You can get a half. It comes with 2. You can get a whole chicken. It comes with 4. And that's our concept. But the hunks and holes, the little sliders are all unique approaches to the whole donut fried chicken combination. And folks have just been loving it. We also do like a breakfast sandwich with a donut and 2 fried chicken digits. That's hugely popular. But we've also developed a chicken sandwich, since everybody has saying, what are you guys gonna do with chicken sandwich? So we did develop a chicken sandwich that actually comes on a brioche bun. So it's our marinated chicken, pan fried to crispy genius, and served with our coleslaw and a little squirt of our comeback sauce. And it's just gotten rave reviews. We've done that at farmers markets. We've done that at music events. And we'll probably be at more farmers markets as the fall continues to give us the weather we've been having.
Very good. Everybody's in the chat saying how hungry they are. I love how you describe the chicken and the process. Like you have described this in a way that it romanticizes it. Like like we're not talking KFC here. Like what you're describing is gourmet, like beauty. I told you already, I'm coming to get some chicken. I have driven in the car to get food before for several hours, and I will do it again. So we gotta get you back up and running so we can come get some chicken, because you make this chicken sound like it's amazing. I'm curious, is anyone we've got almost 100 people in the group. Has anyone ever had Bagock chicken? If you have, please comment.
If you were ever at the General Store or Colorado Kitchen, my first 2 restaurants, you may have had it. But over those years, I've refined the recipe and done more things to it and done a few different approaches, but it's still the same. And I get a thrill out of it. It's intoxicating to me to know, like, when it's marinated long enough, you can feel it. And this is what I teach my team. When you have it in the pan and the pan is hot enough, you see what happens and you watch the crispiness start to form, and then you turn it over. It's a very delicate process, and you have to be it's got to be at the right temperature. There are all these things involved. We take our time. We appreciate the beauty of the food. We appreciate what chicken does and the natural chemistry of it. There is a science to it that's God-given. We don't have to add anything other than the other natural things that we do. But there is a craft, and I think we pay really close attention to that. The donut was just something we thought, well, everybody's doing a waffle. What if we did something that you could be in your car, as a lot of people do, and enjoy the chicken and the donut and see how well it goes together. It surprised a lot of folks who were like, donut,
It's a great combination, because you're right. And a cake donut was the perfect donut because it's not crumbly. No. So you don't have the mess, right? It's not too sweet. So you talked about the honey glaze a moment ago on the chicken too. Like, ooh, girl, okay, let me get some. Oh, Jesus, I have not eaten dinner yet either. Darla said, do you use healthy cooking oils? Can you share what kind?
We do use healthy oils. We don't use fake oil. We don't use oil that's been treated. We use purely natural oil, but we don't use peanut oil because of the allergy associated with it. But we do use natural oils. We don't use any oils that have been, I guess there's something they put like anti-caking agents or things to make oil last longer. When the oil is done, it's done, and we get rid of it. So we have a very healthy approach. Some of the information is proprietary, so I won't say specifically what we do, but if you watch the video, you'll see. If you watch, I mean, this is a neat thing about the Food Network. They repeat that show. We get half an hour of commercial every month because the episode called Timeless with Guy Fieri is on all the time. And I get stopped. I've been stopped online and Universal Studios tour. I've been stopped in the subway of New York. I have been stopped at a grocery store in Los Angeles. I got my hair cut and the guy was like, I know you. It's the reach of the Food Network. And yeah, people drove. We were on and people drove. And I said, so are you in town visiting? And they were like, oh no, we saw you on TV. We drove from Florida.
Wow.
So we have a lot of that when people see that show on the Food Network.
So are you doing any kind of cooking at kitchens and then delivering? Are you doing any of that right now?
Yeah, we are. We do rent a kitchen now, and we haven't been doing any delivery, but we have been at a few music events, and we have been at the East New York Farmers Market. We might do that again before it gets too cold. And we have worked with an organization in Brooklyn called Rooftop Reds, and they do like a casual Friday, and we've done fried chicken with them, and we've actually worked with him to pick a wine that goes with the fried chicken. It's a rosé, a little sparkling rosé that goes great with the fried chicken. So I usually will post those on our Facebook page and in the WeFunder updates.
Very good. So Warren says, Warren, she doesn't have a brick and mortar, right? So that's what the fundraise is for. So we'll get to that next. So the next question we'll ask you is, how will you use the money? But Warren has another part of his question is, can you ship? Can you ship UPS or FedEx?
Well, the goal is hopefully we won't have to ship and there will be a location near you. That's what we're shooting for. And we're shooting to have that happen, by 2025, that we're up to 15, 20 locations. And that's the goal. I mean, I look at some of these other places that don't have the food that we have that are up to 150 locations after 6 or 7 years. And I think there's no reason why we can't do that. One of the goals we're trying to reach is to get to 5 locations by 2022, because we have interest. This is our seed round. In our round A, we have interest from investors who have backed a big ice cream brand who are saying, well, get to 5 stores and we'll talk. And we're hoping we can get that. And anybody who's investing now, as soon as we get their attention, the value of our, that $100 you put in is going to just shoot through the roof. You're going to be like, whoa, and this is what we're hoping is going to happen for us, that we get to those 5 locations. The folks that have pitched in now and stuck with us here in the very beginning, in our infancy, will be rewarded when we get to that 5 stores and we get the large venture capitalists involved, and we still retain our equity, and everybody else has been in the very beginning and has their equity go up, and we get to 150 stores, and all of us are growing.
Very good. So let's talk about what the funds will be used for. So 5 stores by 2022. How much does it cost to get a store up and running?
Well, we're looking at using the initial funding to do our 3 ghost locations and to begin to open the 5 stores. The revenue is just going to enable us to grow into the 5 stores. So basically, the 500,000 we're looking to get in this raise will bring us to the beginning of 5 stores, but with the 3 ghost locations as well. We're looking at finding the locations, and that's really the bulk of it, is the occupancy. We have that as a good portion of the funding is to going into occupancy. Now that includes lease negotiating, signing the leases, the beginning of that, doing any renovations we need, and purchasing of equipment. And then we have, inventory, staff training, marketing. Huge part of what we do will go into marketing, and then basically operating expenses. And we can be very economic. We've, as personally as a chef, professionally as a chef, I've opened and designed 19 restaurants. So I know what I'm looking for in a store. I know how much square footage we need. I'm not the type of person to open a restaurant and spend a fortune on decorating. All the painting that happened in Bagock and most of my restaurants I've done. I've put in floors and tiles. I've learned how to fix my own equipment. All those things when you're an owner, you do, because you don't have $275 to pay somebody to fix your thermocouple. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. The part's $9. So we're going to be cost effective. We're going to try and find spots that have been a restaurant before, especially in New York, that saves costs considerably. So we're going to be doing that kind of thing. And we're looking at, with our centrally located, where we're already starting to look at where our 5 locations will be. And we're trying to find that commissary kitchen that's going to service them. So that's our big thing, is when we find a location, we've looked at a defunct Golden Corral that's large enough that we can not only run our commissary kitchen and service 5 locations out of that kitchen, but also do 2 or 3 food trucks and have space to bring them in and service them and maintain them and that kind of thing. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes while we're, investigating, while we have our seed round going, on what our possibilities will be when this 500 hits, and as we look to grow beyond the 5 stores and at the 5 stores.
Very good. So Robin's asking, what's a ghost kitchen?
Oh, a ghost kitchen is, I think there's one that we show in the video, is one of the ones we're negotiating with. It's basically a room with a stove and a little printer that prints out your Grubhub and your Uber Eats, and all the delivery companies will come there and pick up from us. We don't have any seats. We're not having any servers. And it's a way to keep costs down as we initially come back into the market. Basically, we're paying somebody to cook and package. So we'll have a 2-person staff rather than like a 4 or 5-person staff. So it's a economic way for us to re-enter. We'll save a lot of money, but we'll cash in on this whole delivery phenomenon that's growing, and it's huge. And a lot of our delivery apps and ghost kitchen companies, because now there are companies that are making ghost kitchens. This is a huge thing. They're asking us, everybody's asking for fried chicken. So we feel like we have an opportunity and a negotiating platform. And Gotham West, which is going to be our first New York ghost kitchen, and we will be able to serve out of there, came to me because they saw that we were voted best chicken in New York City. So they want us in there. So we're negotiating with them. Hopefully we can get a great deal. So this is what we're looking at, working out of a kitchen where we don't have the overhead, where we're just making food. We don't have to, we have our health inspection, we have our health department, we have all those requirements, but we are just focused on having someone cook and not having people come in and sit down and have to do that responsibility, that we're just making chicken to go right to you, and you're going to go on your Grubhub or your Uber Eats, and it's just going to keep our expenses low. So with 3 of those, we can just concentrate on 3 markets without the overhead of a brick and mortar and a customer-based concept.
Very good. Don says, when you were open, what were your sales?
We had our first year, we did about 75,000 in sales, which was our first year. We were like, no one knew who we were. And then our next year, we did closer to 120. And then we were open for a brief time before COVID, and we were at 48. So our sales to date were 243,000. So for a New York restaurant where no one had really, we were like in just the bars, I thought we did well our first year, and we saw us growing in 2 months or a little bit less than 3 months to get to 48, almost 50,000. We were thinking that before the COVID that we were on our way, that in another couple of years, we were going to be looking at we had already looked at a marketplace of having another location. We were talking to the transit authority of putting something in, the airport. So we still had a lot of those things going on which was going to be our third year. So we were really seriously looking at growth. Now those things aren't off the table now. I mean, we're still looking at a marketplace. I love the opportunity and the option of doing something at the new LaGuardia that might still happen. So we have a lot of those things that we sort of like got shut down that, if we can bubble this back up, I think we're all going to be looking at a Bagock in every airport in the country. And that just would be great.
Nice. So Angela, in the chat, you're saying, how can I invest if interested? There's a link that you can click on, and our admin just put it right there under your comment. Don says, what's the expected revenue forecast for each store?
Well, that's something that we pretty much work out when we design a store and where we're going to put it. But we would like to do, and I break this down. I mean, I break it down into nightly customers that we expect, how much we expect them to spend. And then it has a lot to do with where we are. If we're looking at, I'm just going to take Gotham West as a scenario, and it fluctuates. That they're busier times, and then we're coming in as the only place that's doing breakfast, so we're looking at a breakfast, lunch, and dinner spot, and we would like to do 10,000 a week for our first year. And if we can do that, I mean, they're projecting, they said a number to me, and I'm hoping to beat it, that they're thinking that we could do as much as 650,000 in that location a year. And I don't think we'll do that the first year, but my projection, if we do the Gotham project, that we would probably do in the first year between 425 and 460,000 that year. And as we get, better at it and stable, and folks know we're there and know where we are, that we'll be doing that 650, 700,000 that first year at Gotham West. And our goal is to have those locations that are brick and mortar, that are 1,200 square feet, that are just Bagock, that are doing 1.2, 1.3 million a year.
Very good. Don also says the expansion goal is aggressive. How will you manage the growth over the next 5 years? Do you have a CFO or a bookkeeper or a financial team?
I don't have a financial team, but I do have an attorney and an accountant. And they are on my team, and they've been with me for a number of years. So how we're going to control growth basically is just being as strategic as we possibly can. And that's already started. Finding the appropriate sites and taking into account basically the possibility that a location might not be right for us, and hopefully not finding that out too late. I mean, I have worked for companies that have spent millions on outfitting a space and then realizing that it's not right for them. And that's not where Bagock is going or ever wants to go. Even if we are big chicken, we become big chicken. We'll always be big chicken with a small chicken soul. But we do plan on working with our attorney and our accountant to make sure we manage growth, and that we're always looking at, there's just so many things with every jurisdiction. And that's one of the things that, having worked in California, having had restaurants in DC and Maryland, having had restaurants or worked in Chicago and worked in Seattle, and now I'm back in New York, to know all of the tax differences and how you're taxed. I worked at a restaurant in Virginia Are we paying quarterly tax? All of those things. So we also have a CPA that we're working with. So we know what to expect when it comes to our financial obligations to our jurisdictions is probably the biggest thing.
Very good. Miss Vivian says, how do you feel about owning the building rather than leasing?
I'm all for that. I think that's really the best way to go. And we've looked at that. We've looked at purchasing our commissary kitchens so that we own those buildings where we're doing a lot of our production, and that those will be our largest spaces. And we can control everything we're doing. But no, that is something that we would definitely consider.
And our CEO Cherie Warwick put in the chat, don't forget when it's time for you to need the team members, that we've got that expert directory where you can, and you can come back and let us know you're looking to hire. And
I saw that. I was looking for a general contractor.
Look at that. Very good. I'm sure someone in here knows where Dean, do you know any New York City general contractors? I see you are you still in here? Yeah. Mr. Richards, do you know any New York City general contractors? Darla says, any other desserts other than donuts?
This was a huge hit. We've done cakes, cookies, or layer cakes, cupcakes, but we do this one that people are very skeptical about until they have it. It's called, it's a donut, a large donut cut open, filled with ice cream, covered with chocolate, and nuts. And it sounds really simple, but people go crazy over it. So that's probably one of our best sellers. But we do cakes, and we do cakes for special occasions also. But we do the donuts with chocolate, honey and nuts, and powdered sugar. We do a large donut that we'll do the ice cream with. But we also do, the standard cookies and cupcakes, and everything is homemade. Everything is made in-house.
Very good. Dean says he does know a general contractor.
Oh, cool.
So how can he get you this information, Gillian?
He can leave me a message in the WeFunder app. There's a way where you can just say, ask a question, and you can just say, hey, here's this or that, and just let me know. That'd be wonderful.
Wonderful. And Dean is a stand-up guy. I wouldn't have called him out if I didn't think he was. So I knew he would know, and whoever he refers you to is going to be stand-up as well. That's the kind of guy he is. Damien says, so what's the plan in case COVID drags on? Well, it sounds like the plan is the ghost kitchens with the delivery and pickup. Sounds like that's a great plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Very good.
And in an area. So we're hoping if we're in an area we're not relying on bars, that we can service more people.
Right. So it'll be more residential, right?
Yes.
The business will continue to pick up. Very good. Robin says, how'd you beat Bobby Flay? That's awesome.
You know what? His chicken was really good. I was surprised. I thought that it was going to be easy. And then I remember saying to my partner, I said, hey, because she didn't want to close. We had to close for like a week. And she was like, we're closing. And I'm like, yeah, but we're going to have all this publicity. She was furious. But, we were there, and I said, if I lose, I won't be upset, because his chicken was really good. But what did the judges say? My chicken had more chicken flakes, tasted more like chicken. He did a batter, and I have done his batter every once in a while, but I think the way I marinate my chicken, and it really is very, I'm not covering it with stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the judges preferred my chicken.
And I know exactly what you mean, because I've had good chicken that just didn't taste like chicken. Like they did too much with it. Like it's like it's good, but it's not like I wanted chicken. That's why I came here, right? Yes. And so if it doesn't taste like chicken, if it tastes like something else, it's like okay.
And chicken just has to be seasoned well. That's a huge thing. And if it tastes like freezer, or if it tastes like, there's certain things that will ruin the flavor of chicken. When you freeze it, it loses a lot of that moisture. The cell structure breaks. We lose a lot of moisture when it thaws, and all that you're losing when the chicken thaws is flavor. And that's a huge problem with chicken nowadays. And they put that back in with monosodium glutamate if you're going to one of the big chicken chains.
Very good. So Opal says, Opal, I love how you tied this together. Thank you for thinking of this. So Gillian, we had a group of guys, actually, they were our very first pitch, I think, company called Dashable. And they have an app and they're in the New York area right now. That's where they started their app. And they, it's where you would go. So think of a Groupon, right? But it's Black owned and they have the restaurant discounts, restaurants and entertainment. And I'll send you over Marvin's information.
I've heard of them.
Have you heard of them? Yeah. So I can send you Marvin's information. It's Marvin and Tony are the two owners of it. And that'd be awesome for you to get on that app. And then there's another Black app. Somebody else help me out. There's another Black app. They raised money on Fund Black Founders, but I cannot think of their name right now. But their food, their restaurants as well. If you guys know in the chat who I'm talking about, if not, I can find out who they are because I can reach out to the Fund Black Founder CEO and ask her the name of this company. But they also have another app kind of service where people go to their app and find restaurants and things. And they're also in the Eat Okra. That's it. Thank you, Chandra. That's it. Eat Okra. So Eat Okra is Black owned and they're healthy too. If I'm not mistaken, Chandra, help me if I'm wrong. Isn't Eat Okra, their thing also is kind of that healthy eating, which ties right into what Gillian's saying? Let me make myself a note to get you Marvin's information. Okay. Latrice says, what is your opinion on the difficulties of owning a restaurant? I always hear that it's a hard industry to be in. What keeps you motivated with your goals through the ups and the downs?
You know, for me, it's like it's all the bad food out there. And I feel like I need to run around and if I see a horrible restaurant, I'm like, I'm going to take that spot next door. I'm going to open a place and I'm going to show these people what good. I get very, I take it personally and I take it personally in my own kitchens when I'm chef and I'm like, you know, people are paying money to eat this food. It's got to be better. It's got to be, they've got to go, wow, when they eat it. And I've always felt that. And I feel like I feel called, like this is a cause. There are people that open restaurants and all they did was watch something on YouTube. And one of the biggest things for me is like, New York is very crazy because there's so many restaurants and you sometimes you wonder about the success of a place. Like there's a barbecue place that's hugely successful and the young men that opened it basically saw it on YouTube and I've eaten there and it's terrible, but people don't know what barbecue is supposed to be like. And then we talk about people and we put them on pedestals and their food isn't very good. But then, you know, I have a good friend who's been doing barbecue in Brownsville, Tennessee for years, and her name is Helen, and nobody ever talks about her because she's making barbecue in this little house, but she sells out at like 8 o'clock and the next day she starts all over again at 5 in the morning. And it's the best barbecue in the world, but you know, she doesn't have the platform. But and you know what, she doesn't care about that. She just is she's doing what she loves to do. And that's how I feel. I think those of us who know how to do this and know what good food's supposed to be and feel called to feed people, we have to do it. And there's the best way to do it for me is when I have my own space and I'm doing my thing. I worked for people for years. And when I opened my first restaurant after being fired from another restaurant, because he just did not like my food, even though we got great reviews, the reviewer asked me, you know, I've never called the chef when I write a review. I always just write it. But your food was just so amazing. And it was the first time the Washington Post reviewer had not had anything negative to say. Everything was amazing. And I said, oh, that's because I'm doing food the way I want to do it. And there's nobody telling me what to do. All of this is because the owners will say, we want that on the menu. We want this on the menu. But I'm the owner. And this is the food that I'm doing. And of course it's amazing. And he was like, yeah, it was really good. I mean, he had the greatest, I mean, he came like 6 or 7 times. And,
wow.
And he wrote this great review. even from the burger to the fish. I mean, he just loved everything. And it's because I own the place and I could really feel free to create the way I wanted to. But I know it's a difficult industry and it's hard to get the media's attention, especially in a place like New York. And then you see places that aren't doing as good, just, doing great. And it can be a little disheartening. And it can be disheartening with the bills and how Con Ed is just beating down your door. And, you don't pay that bill, they show up with giant wrenches and like, we're here to shut it off. It can be really daunting and intimidating. And then the worst things happen, Friday night, the walk-in goes down and there's just so many things that can go wrong. But I still feel compelled to soldier on to make sure that people around me and the community and people that love food have a place that they can go to and know with confidence that this is amazing. Because what makes me happy, what gives me joy, what sparks joy in me is feeding people and feeding them well. And I hate to see people have to eat bad food. I hate to see people have to eat bad chicken. And that 14 million of them are doing it every day. I'm like, this can't go on.
Mm-hmm. Kevin says, given the cost advantage that big franchisers have due to preservatives and other chemicals they use, in comparison to well-known brands like KFC and Popeye's chicken, what's the target price point for Bagock's relative to them using a comparable serving size?
Well, our serving size is bigger. Our chicken sandwich is $10 flat. And it's probably twice as big as the $4.99 or the $3.99 chicken. But we are an elevated brand. Our prices are a little bit higher, but not terribly. We are probably maybe 10 to 15% higher, maybe on some things 20% higher than big chicken. But we are clinging to the fact that elevated brands is the new trend, that people want better coffee, people want better chicken. There'll always be a dollar menu, and unfortunately we won't have that because we think that there is a segment of that 14 million people that value good food, that'll pay $2 more for a better fried chicken, that'll pay $3 more for a better fried chicken sandwich. That isn't going to come off. I mean, I ate Chick-fil-A. I ate a Chick-fil-A once because I got this mashed up, flattened chicken sandwich that was soggy. And I'm like, what is everybody going crazy about? Mine is big and you can hear somebody crunching on it from across the room. So I think people will pay. I mean, we're not, it's not going to be $30. It's not going to be some of these times you go to a restaurant with a white tablecloth and like, oh, look, they've got fried chicken on the menu. And you get like a little strip of breast and it's $45. It's not that fried chicken. We're a quick serve, so we understand the speed that has to happen, but it's the quality, it's white tablecloth quality chicken, but you maybe spend $15 for dinner and you're going to be full and you're going to say that was really good.
And that's very reasonable, in my opinion. I mean, $15 for dinner out is very reasonable.
Yeah. And you're not going to go, what did I eat? You're going to go, oh, that was so good. We got to go back. That's what we're going for.
Mm. So Robin's question is interesting. She said, I purchased an 8-pack of chicken, fried chicken from a neighborhood grocer for $8. And it's pretty good. She says, how did you establish your price point? So you talked about that. She says, is it affordable for those who are less fortunate? So I think you kind of answered that is, what I get from that is there's a market, a target market that is going to want to eat your chicken and be your frequent flyers, right? And it may not be the people who can get a, $5 bucket from KFC because that's easier and cheaper. So I think we have to think about target market. Every business has a target market, and it's typically not the world, right? Right? Businesses typically they're not marketing to everyone. Typically, it's a demographic that they're marketing to. And so your demographic sounds like it's that person who won't mind paying $15 for a good meal.
Yeah. I mean, we have the $5 hunks and holes, but we also have the $7 2 digits with a sauce and a side. So there's a range. We have the $10 chicken sandwich, but our quarter dark is $8. Our quarter light is $9, but we use larger chickens. I mean, our chickens, we use 3.5 pounders. So the chicken sizes are bigger. So the KFC will use a 2.5 pound chicken. So their chicken's a little bit smaller than ours. I just think I like the look of the larger chicken that we use. I like how it looks on a plate. So that's our thing. A little bit larger chicken, a little bit more, but I think our whole chicken is $16. So you get like the whole chicken and a bunch of donuts.
That's such a New York thing. Halves and whole chickens. That's so New York. I love it. Amy says, will any of your ghost restaurants be in the South, near Greenville, South Carolina, to be specific?
Actually, yeah, we are. We actually, one of our goals is to do a pop-up in North Carolina, and then do another one in South Carolina. That's one of our goals next year, this year. But yeah, we are looking at the Carolinas. There's a lot of talk about North Carolina. I haven't heard anything from my researchers about South Carolina, but we have gotten a lot of buzz. So if you don't mind driving a little bit.
Is everyone talking about Charlotte? Because that's big right now. Everything's about Charlotte.
Durham, Charlotte, yeah, Raleigh area.
Tammy says, you're sitting on $1 trillion gold mine. How can, from Tammy's mouth to God's ears, huh? How can we contact you? Africa is importing chicken from Belgium. They want to start their own poultry infrastructure. Do you think you would be able to sit for a professional interview? I want to connect.
Oh, sure. I have some chicken contacts too that might. I have a really good friend of mine whose family raises chicken. So sure, however I could help. That sounds like a really wonderful project.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, my phone number and email is on Facebook. Can I put it in the
That's
chat?
your phone number and your email, Gil. Yeah,
oh, yeah, people call me and say, hey, how can I also published a cookbook. They're like, can you sign a book for me and send it to me? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I get phone calls and emails all the time.
Yeah, go ahead. You can absolutely put your contact in the chat. And then Dean can send you the general contact directly to your information as well. Very good. This is I love an entrepreneur to just give you her phone number. Absolutely love that. Heaven says, what data have you collected and analyzed to provide confidence in your forecast for patronage, translating to volume and overall revenue?
Well, I do personally, I am a maniac about statistics. So I just dig deep. I mean, I find the sales, the demographics of every area of that we're going to. And the foot traffic is huge for us. So I ask a lot of questions. I go to a lot of restaurants and see what they're doing. And one of the biggest things about what I've done is I really looked and said, well, what can I do if I were to start my own place and build my own organization? This is after being told that I wasn't a cultural fit, or I wasn't this or that, or we just don't know why we don't want to hire you. I really needed I felt to create my own thing. And the thing that I've created that's gotten the biggest buzz has been fried chicken because of all the Food Network coverage. And I started to really dig deep and to see like, well, what's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? And how and why are they doing? Like, how is Popeyes doing 3.7 billion in sales? And how is it that what's going on with chicken? So I just did all this research, and it's this weird thing that people think chicken is healthier. That's what started this all, was the whole notion that chicken's healthy. And I just dug deep into the statistics and the flavor profiles and what chemicals people are putting in. I mean, I just spent a good 3 months figuring out like, well, why am I different? How am I different? What are their sales? What are my sales going to be? How much can we expect to sell? How many people live in this area? How many people eat in this area? What are they eating? Who's eating fried chicken? Who's eating fast food? So I basically did a good 3 months of research, just finding out all of this. And I did put it together in a business plan. So I do have a business plan that I wrote about the whole notion of growing another fried chicken. Because I've been asked this, like, oh, there's already like so much fried chicken. There's not this fried chicken. And considering we have so many other entries into the market from Taco Bell and Burger King and McDonald's, that's just telling me, and whenever something comes on the news, one of my daughters goes, oh no, mommy, more fried chicken. I'm like, no, that's good. This lifts all boats. Oh, this fried chicken, this lifts all boats, because it means that people are focusing on this.
Right.
And somebody's going to turn around and realizing they're gnawing on this horrible fried chicken, and they're going to look and they go, Bagock, what are they doing over there? And they're going to come in. So what I've seen is this forecasted growth that everybody else has seen. McDonald's sees it, Burger King sees it, Taco Bell sees it. They know where fried chicken is going, and they all want a piece of it. IHOP is doing a fried chicken and waffles. KFC introduced a fried chicken and donut sandwich. So this is something that they're all going, no brainer. We've got to get on this fried chicken bandwagon.
Right.
So when I look at a location, I take into account, well, what have we got that's going on here? Is this a college town? What's one of the things where we're looking at State College? Who's eating out? Are there a lot of restaurants there? And why not? We've looked at, we have a map with push pins in it. It's like really old school of where we're thinking of going and why. Like, it's just as simple as Google, like, what's the best place to open a restaurant?
Right.
We Googled
Right.
it, and it'll list the cities, and it'll say, well, why? Well, because they have this place, there's all these people with this disposable income, and this is how much they have. This is their ages, the information that you can get. And some of it, yes, I've had to pay for. Some of it, I'm like, okay, stats.com, I've paid the subscription fee, and the information is outrageous. Every time we do anything, we're walking places with our cell phones. We're helping all these companies collect data, and that's what's out there. So yeah, if Google says, hey, you're in Popeyes right now, you and Google are not the only ones that know that. So everybody's entrance into any business is being tracked. And I've been able to gain access. I pay $40 a year for it, but I can gain access to this information. So we use that to decide where we're going to put a store, and how much we expect that store to generate. And it's kicked some out of the running. And one of the reasons why we haven't looked at South Carolina is because it's not getting it's not giving us the data that Durham is giving us. And you know, my daughter went to College of Charleston, so I've been to Charleston. I love it. I love the food there. But is there room for a Bagock? We don't know yet. So we're going to focus on the certainties right now, where we're getting really good demographics, where we're getting really good buzz about folks with, okay, we've got a lot of empty nesters who have been eating out at fast food. They eat out fast food 3 meals a week. Okay, that's good. We want there. So those are the things that we're looking at.
Good. So Kenny says, don't know if this was asked, but will there only be takeout? So in the ghost kitchens, Kenny, that's just going to be the takeout, but there will eventually be brick and mortar buildings again.
Yes.
Warren says, how did you come up with the name Bagock?
Well, I was just really, I couldn't think of it. I was lost. I really couldn't think of a name. And I wanted to do something a little bit playful, but I wanted to do something that no, everybody sort of had a relationship with. And the sound of a chicken, I think everybody has heard. Um, and, it's funny because I remember somebody passing by our restaurant in the very beginning, and we were like, where are you guys going? I mean, sometimes you just ask when people look up, but they don't stop. And they're like, oh, we've had Thai food. I'm like, what? No, it's Bagock. It's not Bangkok. We've had some, we've had some translational difficulties with folks, but what's really funny is people not knowing what it is until they're in our restaurant and I answer the phone or somebody answers the phone and we say it with a lot of enthusiasm, "Bagock!" And they're like, oh, that's what it is. So we just wanted to do something that really said what it is that we did, but also was, something that was, because I kind of played down the name. Like my first restaurant was Colorado Kitchen, and everybody was like, that's like deliberately basic because the food was amazing, but you called it Colorado Kitchen like it was just a neighborhood place. And I said, well, yeah, because Colorado Cleaners was next door, Colorado Liquors was across the street.
Mm.
Um, the laundromat Colorado soap was just over there. So we wanted to blend in. We wanted to be part of the street, the community. We weren't like, shishi, blah, 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 but we were when you got inside. But we wanted to let everybody have that sort of like open arm neighborhood thing in our name. And Bagok was kind of like, we're really serious about our fried chicken, but it is chicken.
Right. Nice. Two more questions. I'm so glad you're staying with us. And thank you to all of you guys who are hanging on till the end. We got two more questions. Latrice says, do you cook any other specialties other than fried chicken? Any other special items on the menu?
Well, people love my collard greens, and I take those very seriously too. They love the mashed potatoes and gravy. It's really simple. And the mac and cheese is awesome. So we do, really great sides. We do biscuits every once in a while. Our breakfast sandwich is a huge favorite, and I call it the HHEC because in New York it's called um, EBC, egg, bacon, cheese. So we have hollandaise, hash browns, egg, and chicken. So it's an HHEC. And people love it because one of the things that I really got good at as a young cook was hollandaise. And but I'm also known for my crab cakes. That's probably the thing that I thought was going to make me famous was my crab cakes, not my fried chicken. I take this very seriously. So there's another concept that we developed that, we'll see how Bagock goes, but we've developed a concept called the cranky crab, and it's all crab cakes and seafood, and that's another concept that sometime in the future that we're hoping to unveil.
Very nice. And Eddie's question is, I totally get you on the difference in taste between a wholly natural piece of yard bird and what is standard today. In a lot of cases, food businesses are sort of forced to switch to volume suppliers with explosive growth. How will you ensure your quality of sourced chicken will grow with you?
That's our huge thing. That's the huge thing that we're working on. So that's why we're connecting. And it's really interesting that you asked that question because as we're going to this trend, there's a lot of farmers that are going to this trend and want to produce a great bird. So we are like linking up with as many of these farmers that are concerned about quality as we are. In fact, Purdue is coming up, and one of my salesmen really tried to sell me on this chicken, an all natural Purdue bird coming out of Purdue. They know that this is what the future of chicken is going to be. People are asking for all natural products, and they're watching all these farms taking their business, my business was, these huge, was the farms that were really making chicken to my specifications. People are buying halal because they know that product is going to be all natural. And so Purdue even is thinking we've got to come out with an all natural product. So I think a lot of other chicken producers are going to start. Tyson is going to, they're going to feel the breath on their neck as well, that they have to step up and produce a natural product. They're going to continue to do their garbage chicken. It's their bread and butter, but they're going to also start looking into investing in an all natural product. So, I have a friend who's a chicken farmer, and I lean on him a lot to direct me to the folks. He grows for Tyson, to direct me with the poultry growers that are doing an all natural product. And they're springing up. There's in New York, this is our goal. Our goal, how McDonald's owns farms that make potatoes?
Mm-hmm.
Bagock's goal is to be the Tyson, to be that house that's bringing natural chicken together.
Right.
Like if you drive through the countryside in like West Virginia or Virginia and Maryland, you'll see that farms like Jacob's Chicken Farm, and there'll be a little Tyson logo on their sign because they're growing chicken for Tyson. You're going to drive through upstate New York or down in Georgia or parts of Alabama, and you're going to see, Crutchfield Chicken, and beneath it is going to be a Bagock logo because they're growing chicken for us. That's the 2035 goal. That's the 2030 goal. That we're producing enough, that we're selling enough chicken, that we're controlling the production.
Very good. Very good. Kevin, you're trying to copy the WeFunder page. So Kevin, here's a better way to do it. Go to wefunder.com, and then they have a search bar, and you can type in Bagock, and then her campaign page will come up. So I apologize, you're having trouble copying the campaign link, but if you go to wefunder.com, WEFUNDER.com, that page will come up at the top of the screen. You'll see the little search circle. You can type Bagock there, and the campaign page will come up. This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Gillian. I'm going to let you do some final words, but before that, I'm going to ask the community what I always ask them, right, is to please share this campaign page. We've heard the roadmap. We've heard the passion around cooking and how this chicken is taken care of before it gets on our plate, right? We see her face light up. Right? You always know somebody loves what they do because their face lights up when they talk about it. And we've seen that here this evening. And so, please, more people need to be able to hear about this business. Again, lines around the corner until COVID came and everything changed for all of us. So we all understand what that means. The other thing, bon appetit, best chicken in the city, right? The other thing I think, and I hope you guys didn't miss it because I got it, she was known for the roasted chicken. The oven broke. You guys follow me? The oven broke. It had all this chicken. I got to cook it, so let's fry it. So she didn't even know her chicken was that amazing, right? And so, and the reviewer was there that night, right? So if you believe in something bigger than us, right? Whatever that something is, right? Oven broke, got all this chicken. I'ma fry it on the night the reviewer's coming, and I don't know he coming. Come on. Come on. I mean, so this sister is destined for greatness, okay? She's destined for greatness. And if we want to be on that journey with her, we got the WeFunder campaign link. We're going to share it with our friends. We're going to do our due diligence, right? And we're going to make the determination on if this business fits in our portfolio. But Gillian, thank you so very much. Your final words, my dear.
Thanks, Tawana. It's so great to be in front of you and to answer your questions and to talk chicken with you. And it's funny because I'll be talking like this to people and they'll be like, "Oh my God, is there an off button?" And it's so good to be able to freely say it and to just explain everything. And my phone number's there. My email's there. If anybody wants to call me and talk chicken, I will keep you up just talking about chicken and what it means potentially for us as we grow. And for, you know, I have a little picture of the 3 people that represent Big Chicken, and I say, there's only one of us, the 4 of us. I have Popeyes, KFC, and Chick-fil-A, and me in the corner. And I'm like, there's only one of us in a chef coat.
Mm,
And
mm.
that just speaks volumes to me. There's just one of us in a chef coat. And I always wonder, like, you know, people want to open a restaurant, and it's like, I don't have any idea how to open a dentist office, and I wouldn't even begin to. But imagine the success of people that really don't know anything about really what it takes to make great chicken and what's involved and the success they've had, and that they can be doing 3 billion in sales a year. And if our first year of having 5 stores, if we do 6-7 million, how amazing that would be for all of us. And then to grow that to 20 stores into 50. And like, you know, if anyone's ever heard of Chicken Salad Chick, is now up to 155 locations with chicken salad. And chicken salad, I'll say that again. And we've got the whole Megillah of the fried chicken that everybody loves, that we have all these entries into the market that are less qualified than the chicken that's already here. Tacos, making chicken, and now we have chicken that's real chicken entering the market, potentially entering the market with a better product, an elevated brand that, you know, 14 million people we can draw. If we can draw 3 million of them, and then take some of the burger lovers, maybe people are eating at McDonald's and having a burger and not having fried chicken because it's been so terrible. And if we can enter the market with a better product, a better tasting product, how amazing that could be nationally and then globally. So I have a huge vision for Bagock, and I hope I've explained it enough and have everybody as excited about fried chicken as I am and its potential. And honestly, I didn't know when I first did that fried chicken, what it meant. And I'm learning every day how much people love fried chicken, and how simple food means so much to us. And I'll tell you just really briefly, I had an opportunity to open an American diner in Scotland with a group. And I was in Scotland for 6 months working on this project with them. And we were just doing like simple American food, like burgers and chili and cornbread and biscuits and hot dogs and chicken pot pie and like all those things that you might find in a diner. And people would just pop the door open and go, "Is it true?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing this. Are you American?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they were just so thrilled about the prospect of eating real American food and what it meant in some place like Scotland, where I found the food there was great, but they just wanted something American, and how simple American food can be so impactful. And that's what I believe in, and that's why I'm still here fighting for great food and fulfilling my mission and living my cause.
Wow. Well, it shines through. It shines through. If anybody says Gillian doesn't love chicken and love satisfied customers and making people feel special, we know they're not telling the truth, because we've seen it here today. That passion shines through, sis. So
thank you.
Congratulations in advance to you, because I know you will get the success that you're looking for.
Thank you.
I feel the love, and I don't care if I got to stand outside and have DoorDash delivered to the car. I'm coming to get some chicken when the first kitchen is open, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys, you know what to do. Share, 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 share. Okay? All right, everyone, have a wonderful
Thank you, everybody.
evening. It has been another amazing pitch, another week. Thank you all so much for coming. God bless you, and good night.